Okay, welcome to the Insurance 101 call. This is the call where we teach you all the basic sales training for insurance sales, for life insurance. And this is for the newbie, this is for the old bee. And we're gonna get you cranking out some numbers here. If you're not doing 20,000 annual premium per month, you should be on this call. There's a bunch of nuggets here. Myself, Sean Simpson, I've been selling life insurance now for a couple of years, and I have about 30 plus years of sales background trading. All of the sales training is about the same, but we tailor it on this call for sales training for insurance. So tonight's call, we're going to talk about posture and control. This is a big one because posture is really, really important. We have to be able to position ourselves with the client as though we are in control of the call, that we are ready to help them, and they have to understand that we're ready to help them. Okay, and so if we don't position them correctly, if we don't position ourselves correctly or posture ourselves correctly, a lot of times they can feel like they're in control of the call. And when they're in control of the call, they can give you objections and you just don't know how to get around them. So the posture is actually the attitude that you kind of bring to the call. Okay, and the attitude is dictated by three things that we usually use. And maybe you know it, maybe you don't know it. You actually use it on every single call. But we use body language, we use tonality, and we use words. And I know you're thinking right now, well, how do we use body language when we're on a phone call and they can't see us, right? That's where our tonality and our voice inflection comes in place. Obviously, if we're in person, you have body language, right? And you can read somebody's body language whether you know it or not, and they can read your body language. You can get that feeling of, is this person a good person? Think about this. I mean, I'm sure there's been a time, sometime in your life where you walked into a house with tons of people and you're like, I just don't feel right. I don't want to be here. And so you just pick up and leave. On the flip side of that, you walk into a house and you feel like, and there's a party going on, same scenario, except for a little bit different. This time you feel like, I want to be here, right? It's that body language. It's that environment, right? That's what you get from doing in-homes. You don't have that when you're doing telesales. But what you do have is that spirit that goes through the phone, right? That attitude that you have on the phone, right? And a lot of times, if you wake up in the morning and you're just in a bad attitude and you're like, you know what? I just don't want to deal with people today. But you're like, you know what? I'm going to grind it out and I'm going to work through this. Fake it till you make it, right? You can actually change your attitude just by presenting yourself as if you were in a good attitude, even though you're not. Because the tonality of your voice, the words that you use, and your voice inflection over the phone is going to help you change that attitude to help you posture yourself. Okay, so that's kind of the body language part of it. Tonality is how you use your tone of voice, right? Your voice inflection. I know I come from 16 years of selling steaks, chicken, and seafood door to door. And in that profession, I literally had to go door to door and get excited with every single pitch, every single door. And literally it would be, I get out there at 10 o'clock in the morning. I drive probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours away from my house. And I get out there, I knock on the first door, and I still I've done it so many times. I still remember I knock on the door. Hey, sorry to bother you guys. I got $7 to $9 steaks going for about $2 to $3 a steak. You guys eat steaks, right? And before they even said anything, I would say, hold on a second. Let me show you what I got. And I'd run out to the truck. And if they said no, they'd have to tell me no on the backside when I'm running out to the truck, right? I had to get super excited, right? But here we're talking about life insurance. So I had to dumb it down. I had to take my tonality and lower it. I can't be excited when I call those people, because if I'm excited, I'm going to sound like a telemarketer, and telemarketers get hung up on, right? So instead of doing that, instead of saying, hey, I'm calling you back about that life insurance questionnaire that you had filled out, now I'm a telemarketer, right? But on the flip side of that, if I dumb it down, my tonality is real slow and low, hey, Drake, I'm just giving you a call back regarding that life insurance questionnaire that you had filled out. I got your date of birth is 9/12/1923. Does that sound like you? Yeah. So the tonality also attracts them, right? It gets them to stay on the phone a little bit longer at the beginning of the call, obviously. So the next thing I want to talk about is the words, right? The way you say your words, voice inflection again. Okay. Let me give you an example here. The type of words that you say and how you say your words is really important. Okay. Joanne, who's going to be the one picking up the pieces if you didn't come home tomorrow? Or on the flip side, who's going to be the one picking up the pieces for you if you didn't come home tomorrow? I'm saying the same exact words, but my voice inflection and my tonality is a little bit different on that word, which means a different thing because I put it on a different word, right? By me saying, who's going to be the one picking up the pieces for you if you didn't come home tomorrow? To me, if somebody asked me that, now I'm focusing on tomorrow, right? Rather as if I were to say, who's going to be the one picking up the pieces for you if you didn't come home tomorrow? Now I'm thinking of if I didn't come home, but that could be at any point in time, right? Even though I said tomorrow really quickly, I'm more focused on not coming home, not coming home tomorrow. But by me saying, who's going to be the one picking up the pieces for you if you didn't come home tomorrow, now it triggers in their mind, man, what if I didn't come home tomorrow? Who would be the one that's going to take care of that? Right? So the words that we use and how we say them can create a different emotional trigger in the client's mind. Okay. So now we're going to talk about posture. Well, it's all part of the posture, right? But those three are part of the attitude that we need to deliver to the client. But there's about 3 different types of posture that an agent has when they're on the phone with a client. Okay. There's superior posture. This is the style of posture that positions the salesperson above the client, right? Like it makes it seem like you're better than the client. This type of a posture may be somebody that, and you've probably caught yourself doing this a couple of times. I know I have, where the client is starting to explain why they don't want something, or they want to do something, or they want to give you an objection, and you cut them off right in the middle of that objection and you start talking. That's simply a superior posture. It's just basically letting them know that what you have to say is more important than what they have to say. Okay. So just to kind of add on to that little scenario there, in that situation, whatever they say, if you already know the objection and you know what they're going to say and you already know what the rebuttal is, let them get it all out. Let them talk it all out. Let them explain to you why they don't want to do this, or why they want to go think about it, why they want to go talk about it. Let them talk. Because once they get it all out, they have no more bullets to shoot at you. They have nothing, right? So don't cut them off. Just let them talk. And then go over your rebuttal. Okay, that's the superior posture. The next posture is the total opposite, the inferior posture. This is the posture that most people live in. Okay, this is especially the posture that the new clients live in the most, or the new agents live in the most. Okay, why? Because the confidence just isn't there yet. They've never sold a policy. Maybe they've only sold a few policies. Maybe they don't know the objections that they're going to get. Maybe they don't know the rebuttals to the objections that they're going to get. They especially have an inferior posture if they don't even know their script, right? They don't even know what to say. Of course, they're going to have an inferior posture. So one thing to do to get over the inferior posture is to prepare. And I teach all of my agents, memorize your script. Memorize your script. Say it 100 times to your dog, to your wall, to your TV, to the floor, to the bug on the wall, to the, whoever. Say it 100 times. And you should be able to say it without even looking at it. Okay. Then write it down 50 times. Yeah, write it down. Writing it down is the most important part, because when you write things down, it sinks into your brain. That's why we have the client write down the appointment time, right? And have them write down our agent license. So preparing helps you get above that inferior posture. Inferior posture also allows the client to manipulate you into because usually when you're in a tangle back and forth to where they're giving you an objection and you're not sure where to go with it, rather than a conflict or trying to cause contention back and forth, you may avoid it and just end the conversation, and they may say, you know what, I'm just not interested. Well, in reality, they may still be interested. You just didn't know how to help that family because you had an inferior posture. So the key to this one is to just prepare. Okay. So the third one is called equal posture. So we have the three postures. If you're not writing this down, you should be writing these down. One of them is superior. We have inferior. Now we're going to talk about equal posture. This is the posture right here that will help you help that family get protected. This is where we all want to be. This is where we can get in affinity with the client, not in infinity, in affinity with the client. Okay. This is where you get along with the client. This is where you can help the client understand, because you're on the same level as the client. You're not higher than the client. You're not lower than the client. You're at the same level. You're asking the need question. You're finding the pain points of what they have. They truly start to understand that you're there to help them out. And they're ready to give you all the information they can because you're on the same level as the client is. Okay. This is where you want to be. You don't want to be forceful, although you need to be a little bit assertive, a little bit aggressive in some situations, but not all the time. Okay. And we're going to talk about that in control here in a minute when we talk about how to control the conversation. Okay. What else did I write down here on my notes? This is where you mirror the client. Okay. If you have an older person, let's say they're 75 years old and they talk real slow. Well, I'm going to talk real slow because I want to make sure that they completely understand me. Okay. Or if you have a younger person that's 25 years old and he's kind of chippity choppity and ready to go, well, I'm chippity choppity too. I can go too, right? You want to mirror the client. A lot of times, sometimes I do it. I mean, I've been doing this so long. Sometimes I do it and not even realize it. And if they speak a Southern accent, sometimes by the time I get off the phone, I'm speaking a Southern accent, right? I mean, that's how well you want to mirror that client is because when you're one-on-one with them and you're creating that affinity with them, everything blocks out, right? And then you can enjoy the process and not worry about the outcome. Obviously, the outcome's going to come if you're helping that client truly, right? But if you're going into it with a posture of superiority to where you want to make sure that you make a sale, that's not the right posture to have. The posture to have is on an equal turf with that client, that you want to help them. They need help. You need to be the person to help them. And that's where you have to be. That's where you start to learn and enjoy the process. Okay. And when you enjoy the process, the outcome will come. You'll start helping more families when you enjoy the process. Right. So that's the posture. If you guys have any questions, write them down. I'll answer them after this. Okay, we're going to get into controlling the conversation. This is really, really important. Take notes because this is big right here. If you can't control the conversation controls you. The client will control you big time. Okay. How do you control the conversation? Well, I'm going to give you some tips. The person that asks the most questions controls the conversation. Okay. The person that asks the most questions controls the conversation. Because what's happening? If you ask a question, they're automatically going to answer your question. It's not like you ask a question, people just stay silent, right? If they did, I mean, people don't communicate, right? So once you ask a question, they have to answer it and then listen, right? And when you follow up with another question, they have to answer it. When you're asking intelligent, credible questions that help them understand that you really want to help them, they're going to allow you to control the conversation even more. Okay. Here's another thing that you can do to guide them down the path to control the conversation. Ask multiple choice questions. Okay. Look, we have a policy here for 25,000, and then that is 248, and we have one for 20,000 that is 229. Now, obviously, we don't know if you've been approved yet. We're just going to submit a request and see if we can get you approved. Which one would you like to apply for? The 25,000 or the 20,000? Zip it. First person who talks loses. Now, why multiple choice questions? Well, because either way, you know which way they're going to go, right? They're going to answer one of those two questions. Now, not all the time, but here's the reality. The two multiple choice questions, or even three multiple choice questions that you ask them, they are more likely to answer one of those two or one of those three rather than coming up with a answer on their own. Because the brain is being guided to those one of those two questions, right? To one of those two answers. Sorry. And if they come up with an answer that's not one of those multiple choice questions, they actually have to think outside the box. And then the brain's working extra hard to think of something else other than those two questions, right? Because those two questions, they already have the answers to. Look, would you want to apply for the 20,000 or do you want to apply for the 25,000? They already have the answers to both of them. All they got to do is pick one. And if they don't want it, now the brain has to say, okay, think outside the box, right? No, I'm going to think about this, right? It's simple, but more likely that they're going to pick one of those two. Okay. Obviously, there's more into that, but that's kind of how it works. When getting an objection, try to, for one, okay, we're going to talk about objections here. And this all goes to controlling the conversation as well. When you get an objection first, before you even get the objection, the best thing to do is to address the objections up front before they even come up. If you already know that they're probably or most likely going to come up, why not just address them right up front anyways, right? Get it out of the way. And that way, if you can't get past that objection, because in reality, I mean, every objection has a rebuttal, but there's no way that you're ever going to get around 100% of the people that you talk to on the phone or in person for the rest of your life. Just doesn't happen. You are not Harvey Specter from Suits. But you can always try, right? And so if you give them an objection, or if you know they're going to give you an objection up front, handle it right away. So that's why when I always like to handle the Social Security number issue and the banking institution issue right up front. I already know that that's most likely going to be my biggest objection sometime when I get into the application. When I get into the application, that's going to be a half an hour, 45 minutes down the road. Okay. So if I do it right up front before we even go anywhere, if they give me an objection and I can't get around it, then I didn't waste much time. I can just move on or reschedule the appointment or do something, right? But the way you do that is, let's say I know they're going to give me an objection with the social security number, the banking information. I'll just tell them up front, look, we're going to submit a simple request. In that request, they're going to ask for a couple of pieces of information that they need to ask for. It's kind of like going to the car dealership and buying a brand new car, right? They're going to ask for a social security number. The way they're going to use that to make sure you are who you say you are, that you're not taking out insurance in somebody else's name, and they're going to use that to check for your prescription check against the MIB. Okay. The other thing that they're going to ask for is a banking institution to be on file, like an account number, a routing number. If you are approved in blah, 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 right? So I'm telling them right up front. Then I'll go right into it and say, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes, ask you some finance questions, some medical questions. From there, we're going to submit a request, blah, 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 right? So I'm letting them know right up front. Okay. If you get an objection, here's the process. Remember, AUO, AUO. I know it's weird letters just out of the blue, but if you can remember the letters, it might help you remember what are they called, steps are to overcome an objection. The first thing that you're going to do is agree with them. Okay. I hear so many people on live dials talking with clients, and client gives an objection and they're like, but, and then they go right on with, nope, that's not true, or this. That kind of causes contention, right? But if the first thing that you do when they give you an objection is agree with them, guess what? There's no contention. There's no contention whatsoever. Because if you're agreeing with them, there goes all the walls. Now they know that you're trying to help them out, right? Look, I like to think about it, and the reason why I want to think about it is because of this and this and this and this and this and this and this. I totally understand why you need to think about it. You want to gather some more information. But since I'm the only source of information that you have, the only thing that we're going to do today is just to submit a request. Once you get approved, then you have 30 days to think about it all you want to. Okay. In the policy, it's going to have all the details that I just went over with you. You can read it over, talk it over with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your grandma, your dog, whoever you want to talk it over with. And then you can decide if you want to keep the policy. But we don't know anything until we get you approved. Okay. I just agreed with them. I told them that they understand, that I understand. Right. And that's the next one. That's you. Understand the problem. Then the next one is overcome the objection. I just did all three of those in that, right? So let's do that again. So if they tell me, I'm not going to give you your social security number or my social security number. Okay, no problem. I completely understand. In fact, my mom's 75 years old, and about 2 years ago, she was scammed for like $3,000. So I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, because that kind of drove a stake through our family. So I totally understand. The problem is, though, all these carriers, they ask for the same information. Okay, so no matter if you go to another carrier or if you go to another agent, it's not me, is it? No, it's not you. If you go to another agent, another carrier, doesn't really matter, because they're going to ask you the same thing, because this is tied to you. We're talking about $100,000 here. We want to make sure that that money goes to the right person, right? Yes. So I just agreed with the person. I understood their problem by telling them a problem that I had with my mom that got scammed. And then I overcame the objection. Okay. How do I overcome it? You just ask the same question again. So what's your social? Simple as that. Okay. So that is posture and control. All right. I'm going to open it up. What questions do you guys have? If there's any. No questions? Okay. Sweet. I must have did a darn good job. Love it. Let's do some role play.
Hey, Sean, I just wanted to point out one thing that you said that I really, really like. Is that, when they say, hey, I don't want to give you that, I've been scammed, or, they always say some version of that.
Yeah.
right? Like our tendency is to, like combat that.
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's why I did this. That's why I give you my license, or this is insurance, or like whatever the things that we come up with to say. But instead you embraced it. You're like, yeah, totally agree. It happened to my mom, happened to this, happened to that,
Yeah.
And so you're not like, your response isn't to disagree with them or make them feel like you're disagreeing with them and making them wrong. I like that.
Thanks, Josh. I think the important part that I forgot to mention too is that um, when you agree with them, a lot of people you can kind of feel, you're like, oh, they gave me that social security, or they gave me that social security number objection. What am I going to do? Right. A little bit of that nervousness kind of sets in. Right. So at that point in time, you have to be strong mentally and just calm down and say, and a lot of times that's when I calm down even more and create more space in between your words. Okay. And by doing that, meaning that, let's say they say, well, I'm not going to give you my social security number. Okay. No problem. I understand. My mom was actually scammed about 3 years ago for like $15,000. Right. But unfortunately, no matter if you go with another agent or another carrier, right? So the whole point is like, just calm way down, because when you just calm down, it seems like, whoa, I thought he was going to get upset with me. And he's
Can you
not getting upset with me, right? He's just going over the process, acting like this is normal, no problem, right? So if you calm down, you can pretty much almost get around and think about it, agree, okay? Agree with them first, understand their problem, and then overcome the objection. Simple as that. Agree, understand, overcome. Agree, understand, overcome. Okay.
can you say that one more time? Like how you like, yeah, I get the agree part, I get the understand part. How do you like jump right back to, it's like that line where you keep in control of the call and you go straight to the next thing.
So how do
Uh
you go? So if they tell me that they don't want to give me the social security number, how do I jump back into it after I overcome the objection? Is that what you're asking?
yeah.
Okay. So same thing. So, I totally, let's say they say, I'll go through the whole thing again. I'm not going to give you my social security number. I just totally don't feel comfortable with that. Okay. No problem. I completely understand. Actually, my mom is 75 years old and she just got scammed for about $15,000 about 3 years ago. So I completely understand. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But unfortunately, all the carriers are going to ask the same thing, because this is all under the life insurance umbrella. And every single agent you go to is going to ask the same thing as well. So they link that money to you. And we're talking about $100,000 here, or 50,000, whatever you're applying for. I'm sure that if something were to happen to you, you want to make sure that that money goes to the right person, right? That's how they link it to you. What's your social security number? Boom, you're right back into it.
See.
Okay. Just as simple as that. So, okay. Any other questions? And then we're going to move on to role play.
Okay,
Yep.
Sean.
A quick question.
So, I got the social security number and I got the routing number and I asked for the banking info.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you like excuses like, well, I don't have it. My sister's got it. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times that would happen, I'll say, okay, well, remember at the beginning of the call when I mentioned that to you that we're going to need that? First of all, you want to agree, but that was the objection. I just kind of did it in short form. But the first thing you want to do is agree with them and say, okay, well, I can completely understand you don't have it right now, but do you remember at the beginning of the call when I told you that that's what we're going to need? How come you didn't mention it there, if you don't mind me asking? And then find out why. Well, I just didn't know that I didn't have it. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not sure how we're supposed to proceed. I know this is important to you. This policy was made to protect little Bertha there. And, you know, if something happens to you, she's going to have to pay for your funeral, or she's going to have to pay for your final expense, you know. So we're only like 3 minutes from being done. I just need that information so we can send in a request for the carrier to see if we can even get you approved. No money's coming out today, don't worry about that, but we still have to see if we can even get you approved. Okay, so what's that routing number? Oh, well, I found it. Here it is. Or depending on the carrier, you may just be able to say, okay, do you have a debit card with a Visa symbol? Right? And just pivot to a debit card. Did you have another question, Kelly?
Willie just mentioned something interesting. Why would you pivot to a debit card when some companies will not take
Well, that's
those?
what I was saying. Depending on the carrier, because if you're doing Prosperity or AIG, Transamerica, you can do a debit card with a Visa symbol or a credit card. So that's another option. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So Sean, can I ask? Sorry, I'm off camera because I'm driving. But
That's
so
okay.
in the case of someone that maybe they have a funny type of account and they just don't have a routing number, do you then say, okay, well, let me just change the carrier to one that
Yep.
you know takes a debit card?
Yep, that's the other option. Or if they have a Chime account, or if they have I had a lady that had another account online, Bank Corp. She had a routing number and account number, and that worked as well. As long as they have a routing number and account number, sometimes the online places will work, sometimes they won't. But if they don't have either, then you have to go with a carrier that takes debit cards or credit cards.
And Sean, what was those carriers again that do take those separate cards?
Prosperity, AIG, Transamerica.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions?
I
Yeah,
have a
real quick, the
question.
debit card thing, do they take it for, so they just take it for any type of policy, or is it certain types of policies?
The carrier will take it for any policy.
Okay.
Yeah. Jagoon?
Oh, yes, sir. Very quick. I know you mentioned it in your rebuttals with like the Social Security and all that. From experience, whether like an in-home, like, or just on the phone, some clients would just share like oh, more comfortable like going through my bank, if it's like an in-home like credit union, or I'm just like, or those like or when I'm making the call, they'll just share things like about like who are you going through the bank and things like that. Do you attack that objection head on by just putting credibility, or like how do you handle that?
Like if they're giving you an objection that they want to go through their bank to get life insurance? Is that your question?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or even starting with that in their mind, like I'll just go through the.
Yeah. So if they tell me that, I'm just going to say, I totally understand where you're coming from. You're probably familiar with your bank, but banks can't sell insurance. They're not licensed to sell insurance. They can refer you to somebody that sells insurance, and that's kind of how I got your information here. So I'm a broker, and then I go into building credibility. Simple as that. Banks can sell money. They can sell mortgages, but they can't sell insurance. You have to be a licensed agent or broker to be able to sell insurance. Remember, agree with them, understand, and then overcome the objection. All right. Anybody else?
I appreciate that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's do some role plays here. We're going to do 2 role plays. That's it. And we're going to go through the whole thing. We're going to do a 1-call close online right now. That's it. We're going to go through the whole thing. So we're going to have 2 people. One of them's going to be the agent. The other one's going to be the client. And then we can either switch, or if you don't want to be, if the client doesn't want to be the agent next time, we can pick somebody else to do it. but let's have somebody do a whole one call close right now.
Can I try?
You want to do? You want to do it, T?
Yeah, I've never did a one call close. I've been doing
All
just
right.
in-homes.
I love it. First time. Let's go.
First time. Let me get a sheet out.
Who's going to be the client? Jagoon? All right. Jagoon, you do it.
All right.
Okay.
I'm like extra nervous here. How old is he?
I love it. You're extra nervous.
Yes.
Let's get those nerves out of the way.
I'm
That's what
27.
this is for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're only here to help you. No
I
judgment
appreciate
here.
it, guys.
Everybody has been in the same situation. Even me, even Josh Lockhart. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
How old is my client?
54.
Okay,
And
what
he's a smoker.
54? What
54
year
or
is
something.
that?
54 smoker.
1969. Okay. And who's my client?
Go
How do you say his name?
ahead. You say it.
I am
Hi.
Jagona.
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 Yep.
Okay, Jagona. My name is Mytania.
Yes,
Okay. Ring ring.
perfect. Yep.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hey Jagona, this is Mytania.
Hello.
Hi. Hi Jagona. This is Mytania 5. I'm giving you a call here from the final expense office here in Wayne County. I'm giving you a call because we did receive your form that talked about protecting your family with some final expense when you pass away. I got your birthday down here at 5/30,
Wait,
1963.
who is this?
This is Mytania with the final expense office here in
Who
Wayne
is this?
County. Mytania 5. I work with the final expense office and we received your
Okay.
form. I'm giving you a call to get that information out to you. I got your birthday down here at 5/30, 1963, and your address, 123 Main Street. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, not a problem. Like I said before, I'm a medical field underwriter and I've been assigned to your case to get this information out to you. Can you go ahead and grab a pen and paper so I can give you my license number?
Yeah. Okay. How did you get my information?
You either fill out a form online with one of our ads or you sent in a mailer. One of those two ways is how we end up getting your information and getting back to you. You have that pen and paper handy?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. My license number is 12345. My name is Mytania again. That's Mytania. Okay. Um, So what I'm called again is a medical field
Okay.
underwriter. It's kind of like a national broker. It lets me shop around like different A-rated companies. We're partnered with about 63 of them. Some you may have heard of, Mutual of Omaha, America, Aetna, the list kind of goes on. We're going to spend a few minutes on medical questions and then financial, and then they'll let me make a solid recommendation towards you where you can be eligible for the plan and something that's within your budget. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. Okay.
I got your name down here. Your age was 54. Are you retired or working right now?
I'm retired.
Retired. Okay. And what did you do when you were working?
Yeah, I get disability.
Oh, okay. Disability.
I was in construction.
Construction. Okay. I know how to drive a high-low, but that kind of it stops there. Let's see. And if something was to happen to you, who would be picking up the pieces if you didn't return home tomorrow?
Uh, I say my kids. I got two. They get on my nerves, so I don't don't know now, but I'll just say my kids. I have a son and a daughter, so I want to make sure they at least protected.
Okay, son and daughter, and what's their names?
Son name is Tyson.
Okay, Tyson. And
Daughter
your
name Octavia.
Octavia. I like that name, Octavia. Okay. All right. Now, do they
Thank
live
you.
close to you? They stay in the state, or do they stay out of state?
One's at home and the other one's in the city, just down the street from me.
Okay, they're both here. That's good. Not a problem. And I'm going to ask you just a tough question right here. Not a lot of people think about this, but um, when you think about your celebration of life, are you thinking about something big, something small like cremation? Which one are you leaning towards?
Mm, I honestly say cremation. I cost of funerals, and I'll go with cremation.
Okay, cremation. Cremation right now runs about, I want to say, 8 to 12,000. So those are the numbers we're going to be looking at today.
Okay, okay.
And have you tried
How
to get
long does this take?
um it's not going to take too much longer. It just all depends how many questions you ask at the end. Um all right, here. I'm going to yeah, not too much longer. Now, have you tried to get insurance before?
Um, I've talked to somebody before. I didn't go through with it. It wasn't the price I wanted, but I don't have any insurance, so I still need insurance.
Okay, so you're not covered at all. So it's pretty important that we get something in place so Tyson and Octavia won't have to take care of your burial, correct?
Right.
Okay. Now, insurance is not something that you can just buy. You got to be approved for it. So today we're going to submit a simple application. It'll take the company at least up to a week to figure out if they're going to accept you or not. And then after that, you'll have 30 days, which is called the free look period, to take this up or down. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Now for the application process, we're going to need three things. One is a driver's license. That's for your background check. Second is your social security number. Now this goes out on your death certificate to make sure the policy pays out. And this is how the company is going to run your medical. The third thing that we're going to need is a secure method of payment. I don't take any debit or credit cards, only banking and routing. Do you have any questions on those?
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. I think I got my banking information.
Okay. Okay. Just give me a few seconds here. I'm going to insert your information into the system and I'll let you know what it tells me.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I skipped like a big vital part. How many medications are you on?
Oh, it's a lot. Let me get a list. I'm on I take like 5 medications.
Okay, 5 medications.
Diabetes, blood pressure, um, what's it called? I used to have asthma. I only take inhaler once in a while. Um, and two meds I don't even take anymore. So
Okay,
yeah.
not a problem here. I'm going to go through a list of medical terms now. If you had any type of history with these in the last 10 years, you just stop me, okay? Um,
Okay.
I got COVID. We got blood pressure circled already.
No.
No COVID. Heart attack, um, cancer, stroke, or oxygen, asthma, COPD.
No.
Let me see, diabetic
No.
neuropathy, liver or kidney disease, PTSD, um, mental disorders, addiction, felony, or DUI. No. No. Okay.
No to those.
Any surgeries or hospitalizations in the last 10 years?
Surgery before, like heart surgery, but that was 10 years ago.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, now I'm going to enter your information into the system and show you options. Okay, what I'm going to recommend you today is a company called Americo. Have you heard of them before?
No, I haven't.
Okay. This is going to be a whole life policy if we can get you in with them. Do you know the difference between the whole and the term?
I don't think so. It's two different things.
Yeah, a term policy will last for X amount of years and then it'll be over and you have to reapply. And a whole life policy is going to last your whole life. So I wouldn't kind of recommend no one at your age a term policy. We're going to get you something that's going to last your whole life. Okay, does that make sense?
Okay, yes.
Okay. Do you have a pen and paper handy right now? You still have your pen and paper handy?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna let you know the max you can get with this is 40,000. And that 40,000 is coming back
Okay.
$180 a month. Let me see. We get around that 12,000. That's coming back that's about $60 a month. Now, right now, out of these two options, which one would you be comfortable with putting in the application in today?
You said 40,000 is 180 a month?
Yeah, that's your max.
I'll go with that one.
Okay, not a problem. Would this be the end?
Yeah, we can end it right there.
Okay. 'Cause
Good
then I'll fill
job,
out the
team.
application. Thank you.
Yeah, good job. For a while, I was like, man, I don't know what I can pick out here to just pick on her.
I'm so
But
nervous.
you did. That's okay.
Uh,
When you get the nerves out, when you do it, it's harder to
So
do it
professional.
here than it is with the client, right? Because we all know what you're going to say. The client doesn't know what you're going to say, right? So that's what makes it hard. But when you get through it on here, then you feel comfortable because then you get the validation and you get these little bitty nuggets that'll be able to help you out. So one thing that I did pick out is when you said that we don't take credit cards. How did you say it? You said, do you remember what you said, T?
Yeah, I say it all the time. I say I don't take credit or debit cards, only banking and routing numbers.
Yeah, here's the big key word, one word that is going to mess you up eventually if it hasn't messed you up already.
Okay.
Do not use I don't take, right? Because now they're going to think, well, I don't want to give you my banking information. I want to give it to the carrier. So if you can change that and just say the carriers don't take, that might help you down the road. I just don't want you to get stuck on that. Okay.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Then the other thing that I noticed that you didn't build the value of the policy.
I surely didn't. I was so nervous. I didn't tell them about the riders or the
Yeah.
living benefits.
So here's the deal, guys. The building the value is where you're selling the policy. If you don't build the value, all they hear is price. Now you're selling on price. We don't want to sell on price, right? So if we're not going to sell on price, we have to build the value of the policy. And don't do it fast. Take your time. That's where you want to slow down and make it seem like this big, huge event, right? Like this big picture, right? Slow down and build the value of the policy, right? Go through the face value that it's tax-free. You got a terminal illness rider, 50%. Where does that play in? Tell a story. Look, you know, some people have heart attacks and they die, but most people have a heart attack and then live, or they get cancer and then they live, right? They say cancer is the slow goodbye because it takes a while. And I know my uncle, he got cancer and then he was in hospice care, and he was in hospice care for a long time. If he didn't have that 50% terminal illness rider, he would have had to come out of pocket to pay for hospice care. And he needed that to make him comfortable before he passed. And so that extra money was there to help them with that, right? So you can kind of see, and you guys are probably feeling it right now when I'm telling you this story, right? I mean, if you tell the story and tell them about the riders, it's going to help them get emotional and think about, okay, well, that might help me down the road. I'm 72 years old. I'm right around the corner. You know what I mean? It starts plugging in that emotional side of who they are and what they're doing and why they're getting this, right? And then you have them write down that it's cash, it builds cash value, and then it's level premium.
Yeah.
Right? All of those things that you're having them write down. Today I had a client and I told her, I said, can you grab a pen and paper? I'm going to have you write down the benefits of the policy. And she's like, no, I'm kind of in a spot that I don't have any paper and pen. And I was like, you are? I said, are you at home? She's like, yeah. I said, well, please grab a pen and paper because this is really important. I want to make sure that you get the benefits of this policy. Now, why did I do that? Because if I only give her the benefits of the policy through her ears and she don't write it down, now she's only learned it from her ears. She's only heard it. But if I have her write it down, now she's learning it from her ears and her eyes. She can see it and she can hear it. And now when I tell stories of it, she's going to feel the emotion that's going to come into it, that, oh yeah, this is what I need. This is what's going to protect my family. This is what I want, right? Then the next step is price conditioning. That's the other step that you forgot, okay? We want to tell them, and a lot of times the way I price condition is really simple. You don't have to get all extravagant. You could tell a story of a family that you helped that was older and it costs a little bit more money. You don't have to give them the names. Obviously, you don't need to do that. And plus, I mean, you can price condition multiple times, right? But it's important that you do, because here's the reality. No matter what price you give them, it's going to be a high price, right? You could tell them $50 and they're going to be like, ooh, okay, well, that's not so bad. But you tell them $280 when they're expecting $100. Here's the reality. You don't know what they're going to expect. You don't know how much they think it's going to be. So price conditioning also helps you understand where they're coming from. So I did price condition. Here's a story too. Last week, I ran an appointment and this lady was nervous. She was real nervous. And I asked her, I was getting down to the pricing, and I told her about this guy that had paid $1,200 for a policy because he was like 78 years old. She was 70. And I said, and then I got down to the price and I said, well, she said she even told me, she says, I'm kind of anxious right now. And I said, why are you anxious? Because I think it's going to be a lot of money. And so I just flat out asked her, I said, how much do you think it's going to be? Because I had the price in front of me. I was about to deliver the price. And she said, I think it's going to be like $600. And I said, really? No, not for $10,000. That's all she wanted, was a whole life policy for $10,000. I said, yours is only $78. Oh, really? Wow. So I got the price conditioning out of the way. Now I knew, by price conditioning, I knew what she was thinking. She told me. But if I wouldn't have gone into the price conditioning and talked about pricing at a higher price, I would have never known exactly what she's thinking, right? And I was able to position it for $78. But then she even asked me, well, how much is 15,000? And so I got the price, or I mean, I got her a higher coverage because I was on her level. I was equal posture, right? Okay. Did that help you out, T?
Yes, yes. I thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that. You did a very good job.
Thank you.
Everybody give T props because she did a darn good job.
Thank you guys. I've been doing in-homes, but I definitely want to try to get into the one closes if I can squeeze them in.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Jagona, you're up. Let's go, my friend. I hear you on telesales. We're going to help you out right now. You're up to bat.
All right, thank you.
All right. T, you want to be the client?
I kind of suck at being a client. I don't give too many objections. I'm the easy
Sound like-
client.
You sound like Grady Polson. Who wants to be the client? Kelly?
Oh
You got
yeah,
your
Kelly.
hands up?
Kelly's great.
You want to be the client, Kelly? Okay.
All right, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So information on my client. His name's Kelly. Your name's Kelly. Okay, and how old are you, Kelly?
How old do you want to be, Kelly?
I'll say 48.
48, female. No, I'm
Male.
teasing.
48 female?
Don't,
I'm just teasing.
no, you're screwing with me.
I thought you were just going to play a joke and start talking like a lady for a minute.
No, I'm not gonna
Okay.
do that.
All right, go ahead, Jacona.
48 male. Okay. Ring ring. Hello, Kelly.
Yeah, who's this?
Hi, Kelly. My name is Jagona. I'm the manager over here. I'm getting back to you about the form you filled out online for life insurance protection. I'm just assigned to go over the information with you, but I just need to verify what you put down. You got your birthday as March 30th, 1970. Is that right?
Whoa. Hold on. What form did I fill out?
Oh, yes. Yes, Kelly. This is the generic life insurance form you sent in within the last few months. You put your birthday as March 30th, 1970, and your address is 23 Main Street. Anyway, I'm just a manager in charge of getting it to you. This plan covers either
Jacona.
burial or cremation if anything
Jagona.
happens to you. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
No?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do
Yes,
this.
I can hear you.
All right. So what I want you to do is say
Uh-huh.
the same thing. We're going to work on your pitch, but say the same thing, but say it slow. Okay. Create space in between your words. You kind of sound like a robot, right? And the robots are telemarketers, right?
Okay.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
This is Jagona. I'm just calling you back regarding that final expense and burial programs that are going on statewide right now. Just talk real slow, like you don't even care. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So his okay. Yeah, Kelly, this is a plan that would pay out if anything were to happen to you. It would go to your family. Anyway, I'm just the manager in charge of getting this
What
out to
for?
you.
Why are you calling me?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just assigned to go over the information with you. I'm the licensed agent assigned to your case. We're doing everything virtual now, so it takes about 10 minutes. Go ahead, Kelly, grab a pen and paper so we can get this out the way really fast.
What am I writing down?
Okay, so first I want you to write down my information. My name is Jagona. That's spelled Njuguna. And my state producer number is 207-369-31. With that number, you can go to the Department of Insurance, go to the website, type it in to find me. That way you know who I am. So let me ask you, Kelly, does this phone receive text messages as well?
Yes, but I'm in Colorado, does that work for you?
Oh yes, that's perfect. That's perfect. And have you been trying to get this set up for a while now, or am I the first person you've been able to talk about this?
I've been looking about a year, for different things, but I just have not found the right company.
Oh,
E-
okay, perfect, perfect. That's why we're
Every,
meeting today.
yeah, everybody
Now, the
wants to
way this works,
charge
Kelly,
me.
is very
Everybody wants to charge me too much.
Oh, right. I completely understand. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm only allowed to show people what's in their budget. And I've been able to help a lot of people find plans that work for them. So the way this works, Kelly, is very simple. My job is a little different from the sales rep we send out to you. I'm gonna ask you about 5 medical questions. Depending on how you answer those, it will give me a good idea of which companies will decline you and which ones will approve of you. Once we pull up those options for you, we will look to see which company is offering you the best rate. At that point, we'll submit an application to see if we can get you approved for coverage. Now, unfortunately, we can't commit to anything because today, before you can buy the insurance, you have to get approved. Does that make sense?
Well, what kind of questions are you going to ask? I mean,
So we're going to ask you about 5 medical questions and then a few financial questions. And depending on how you answer those, we're gonna determine what you can get approved for. Of course, you don't commit to anything today. We just make sure you get approved first. So medical questions and financial questions. Now, Kelly, people really fill out forms for insurance for 3 reasons. One is to either cover their final expenses, to protect a large like a mortgage, or to leverage a legacy. What is your main concern? Which one of those 3 applies to you?
funeral.
Funeral?
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it, got
I'm not going to be burned twice.
it. I got it. I've heard very as well. As of right now, Kelly, if something happened to you, who's responsible for handling your funeral?
Nancy.
Nancy? Okay. Is she local?
She's actually in Oregon right now.
Oh, she's in Oregon. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So quite some ways from you. You're more down south. So it doesn't sound like they could be there quickly to take care of those things. Is your aunt working full time?
No, she's not my aunt. She's my daughter. She would have to fly out,
Oh, I don't
obviously.
know why I thought
Yeah.
it was your aunt. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Okay, she'll have to fly out. Does your daughter have children of her own?
Yeah, she's got 2 girls.
2 girls. Okay. What are their names?
Uh, Clarissa and Julia.
Clarissa and Julia. Wow, beautiful names. Okay. All right. So definitely want to cover them. So to me, it sounds like the reason you filled this out because the last thing you want, basically the last thing you'd want is for something to happen to you and then your daughter would have to figure it out. Like coming up with the money, how to bury you, and things of that nature. So what we're gonna do right now is just complete the financial inventory sheet, and that's just gonna ask you a few medical and financial questions.
Questions about what? All I want to do is to make sure my burial is covered so that
So
Nancy doesn't have to take care of the crap and that her daughters don't have to deal with anything. I've dealt with that before with my mom and 2 other friends. So Just give me a base
Oh,
coverage
perfect, perfect. Yeah, yeah. I
of like,
definitely understand.
I mean, I've paid 20K out of pocket, I've paid 30K out of pocket, and almost 40K out of pocket for different things and friends and family members.
Yeah, that's a lot to be doing. I definitely understand. So that's exactly what we're doing now. We're gonna find something that works perfectly for you within your budget, and we're just gonna get some health questions going because the insurance company has to think about why they would want you. Like I shared, we're just filling out a request for coverage. They just
Okay.
have to approve you. So I'm going to read a list and let me know if these medical conditions apply to you. Are you ready, Kelly?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm just gonna read through them. I'm gonna assume no. Say yes if you have any of these or had any of these. Heart attack,
No,
stroke,
no,
TIA,
no,
cancer,
no,
stents,
no,
diabetes,
no,
neuropathy,
no,
high blood pressure,
no,
lupus,
no.
asthma or COPD.
No, but what is the lupus?
Lupus is an autoimmune disorder where your body it's extreme pain. Your body would attack itself. You would probably know if you had it. A
No,
severe condition.
no, I just never
Thyroid
heard of it.
issues,
No,
anxiety or depression diagnosed,
no,
kidney or liver disease.
no.
Okay, got it. And what do you do for work, Kelly?
I'm self-employed. I'm an independent sales contractor, consultant.
Okay. All right, nice. What's your monthly income for that?
I don't know. We could make it about right now about 15.
Okay. 1,500,
15K. Go ahead.
15K, 15K. Cool. Cool. Okay. Are you do you have a mortgage right now?
Nope. Everything I have is pretty much paid for. I
Okay,
do
awesome.
I do have properties that I'm paying on. Why do you
Okay.
ask?
Okay. Okay. Lets us gives us a basic idea, if there was anything we needed to protect or things of that nature. It sounds like things are paid off, so that's great. So your main concern is, of course, Nancy and your final expenses. So that's great. Are you a smoker or non-smoker?
On.
Non-smoker. Okay, perfect. Any surgeries within the last 10 years?
Yeah, I had my left arm broken and I got a titanium rod between my shoulder and elbow.
Okay. Noted. Okay, got it, got it. Okay. Are you on any medications right now?
No.
Okay. I see. Do you have any current insurance in place right now?
Yeah, I got a pretty big policy with Baltimore Life.
Okay. All right. How much? How much is your protection?
I don't know, it's like about 100 grand.
Okay. 100 grand. Okay. Who's your beneficiary for that one?
Nancy.
Nancy. Got it. Okay. So were you looking for additional coverage then?
Maybe additional, maybe something better. You talk
Okay.
to me. You talk to me.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we're almost done with these questions. You don't have any debts or anything of that nature, is that correct?
No, no.
Okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay. All right, so based on your medical questions, my apologies, you know, it's kind of late. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get you approved for anything or not, but luckily there are a lot of companies. So hopefully someone will say yes. But if for any reason we can't get you approved, at least are you at least saving money each month for emergencies, Kelly?
Well, money comes and it goes. Why do you ask? You're asking all these questions about my money
Right,
situation,
right.
and
Just
I'm
just
just,
in case, you know, just in case you're saving money. I know you already have insurance coverage and things of that nature. So, yeah, that's good. I so I put your information in the system. We have a few options here. So do you still have that pen and paper by you, Kelly?
it's right in front of me.
Perfect. So write this option down. This is called whole life. Now, luckily, you're still in the age range to be able to qualify for this. And
Okay.
that's a big deal because this is the most popular type of coverage. So, whole life is a plan that lasts your whole life. The cool thing about it is if you get approved for it today, then that means you won't ever have to deal with life insurance again. And that's because the way it works is kind of like a savings account. So, any money you ever spend on this program is still your money. It grows with a cash value and earns a small interest rate. So 5 to 10 years from now, if you have an emergency and you need to tap into the account, you have the option to do that. So money isn't being thrown away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, is this something like an annuity or something, or is this different? I don't know. A whole life is okay.
Yep. It's different from an annuity. It's more like a savings account,
Okay.
although it grows at a cash value. So you earn a small interest, generally like 4%, and basically, you know, years down the line, you'll have an emergency fund or however you want to spend it. And of course, this pays out your death benefit. So, what
Okay.
state are you from again, Kelly?
I'm in Colorado. Yeah.
Colorado. Okay, perfect. Got that.
Sounds like you're typing a lot.
Getting some things for you. Almost done. You are 48. You are a non-smoker. Okay. Just waiting for this thing to load. You know, technology.
Just give them a couple prices. Just make it up.
Okay, just make it up. Okay, thank you. So I got two options here, Kelly.
Hmm.
Go ahead and write this down. The first coverage amount is it goes up to 40K, and that 40K will, of course, cover your final expenses, and it will go to Nancy, and the rest of your kids. So they won't have to worry about anything. The price for that per month is 145.54. And the second option is a 15K policy. That would cover your final expenses, you know, funeral and things of that nature. And the price for that a month is $60. Out of those two, which makes the most sense for you?
But man, the 145. I mean, yeah,
145?
yeah, the 40,000. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Great. So I got that for 145. And like I said before, I don't make the final decision. The insurance company does that. So we'll submit your application, see if you can even qualify for this. And if you are able to qualify, you'll leave your family with that. Okay, so I think that's
Okay.
it.
All right. That's it. Okay.
All right.
So Jakuna, let me ask you this.
Yes.
You were reading a script the whole time, right?
Yes, I was.
How long have you been selling life insurance?
Since I'll say mid-July.
So 3 months, right? But you were in South Carolina with us,
Mhm.
right? Back in April?
No, I was in an event in Detroit. I think that was in July.
Okay. Okay. So July. So that's 2 months and you don't have your script memorized. You have got to memorize your script. Okay. Here's the reason why. Think about it this way.
Okay.
I mean, that's the number one thing you have to do is memorize your script. Okay. I don't know why it's so hard for people to understand. Anybody that's on this call that don't have their script memorized, better get busy and memorize the script, because that's the number one thing you got to do. Okay. Because think about it this way. If you can make a lot of money in this business, right? Yeah. Listen to, look at the big guys out there, Brad Allen, Grady Polson. I mean, all the people, a lot of people that have been in this business for a while makes a lot of money and helps a lot of families. You can become a multimillionaire in this business by helping many, 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 many families, right? Baseball players, they're multimillionaires. Do they get up to a game and without swinging the bat before the game? No, they take batting practice before the game, right? Even though they've been hitting balls since they were crapping in their diapers, right? They still get up before the game and they swing the bat. So you have to you have to have that type of mentality of a multi-millionaire. What does a multi-millionaire do? Multi-millionaire salesperson knows their script. They know walking into the actual meeting what they're going to say. They know about their client. You know about your client because you got the lead. You have the birthday there. You have their address. You know what they're applying for. Final expense, burial. And if you're showing up trying to read off of a script, that's like working at McDonald's, man. Okay. Here's the reason why you need to know your script. You have to memorize it because when you go off ramp and they take you off ramp, they give you an objection. If you don't know where you're at, you're going to pause just like you did. And you're going to try to figure out, where did I leave off at? And then they're going to get frustrated with you. Then they're going to hang up. So the only people that are going to buy from you, that are going to allow you to help their family and trust you enough, are people that absolutely have no other place to go and absolutely want it. And that's 1 in a million. So by you not preparing, you're the one that's doing yourself ill will. You're going out there spending money on leads and you're not even prepared yet. So you have to get prepared and memorize your script. It's super easy to do, but it's super easy not to do, right? It's the same thing that our teacher back in 6th grade said, right? What did you say? Don't ever say that again. In fact, what I'm going to have you do, stay after school, and I want you to write this sentence on the board. I will not spit on my friend. I will not spit on my friend 100 times. I promise you. I promise you. You say it 100 times without looking at your script. You write it down 50 times without looking at your script. The next call you get on, they pick up the phone. It's going to come spitting out your mouth. You're not even going to think about what you have to say. And I promise you, out of the next 100 calls that you make, you're going to help a family, maybe 2, maybe 5. But you're not going to help a family on the same track that you're on right now. You're not prepared. Okay. You want to make this business grow. You have to get prepared and start acting like you want to make it grow. Right. Now, I say this out of love.
Right.
Because I want you to succeed. That's why you're on this call. Okay. You did a pretty good job going through this. You know the process. But you have to go back to square one and memorize your script. All the top producers, they don't sit there and read a script. I don't sit there and read a script. Josh Lockhart doesn't sit there and read a script. Jamie Cheerio doesn't sit there and read a script. Nobody reads a script that's a top producer. They know where to go. The whole point of the script is to get the concept across. Okay? Because sometimes in that process, you're going to build the credibility first. Sometimes you're going to find the need first. Sometimes you're going to build the value. But before that, maybe you're going to price condition a little bit. But if you don't know your script, you don't know where to go. You have to be able to jump around without thinking about it. I knew you were reading the script because, for one, you were looking down and then you sounded like a robot. But the other thing is when you asked about the health conditions, you weren't reading a script. And guess what? You sounded as natural as you can be. You sounded perfect. Okay. Now, I'm not here to bust you up. I'm here to make you better. That's what this call is about. There's no judgment here. All we want to do is make you better.
Right.
So this is what I recommend. Tomorrow, okay? Don't dilly-dally around with this. Tomorrow, okay? You have leads that have your name that you bought. You're the only one that can help them right now at this point in time because you bought those leads. You got those leads somewhere, and those are people that filled out a form requesting information about life insurance. So if you don't help them and they die next week, that's on you. And if you're not prepared to help them and they die next week, that's on you. So tomorrow, I don't care how long it takes, all day long, you should be reading and memorizing that script all day long. And this is how you do it. I'm going to give you explicit instructions on how do you memorize the script. You're going to read one line, the very first line. Then don't look at your script and say it. Say it 3 times without looking at it. Read line 1, line 2. Say it 3 times without looking at it. Read line 1, 2, and 3. Say it 3 times without looking at it. Make sure it's down pat. Just add a little bit more to your script. Then what I want you to do, once you get your whole script done, then say the whole script without looking at it. Wait 5 minutes. Say it again without looking at it. If you have to look at it, glance at it, say it without looking at it. Right? Eventually, instead of sentences, you're going to say one paragraph, then add on another paragraph. Then say the first 2 paragraphs, then add on. Then say the first 2 paragraphs, then add on the 3rd paragraph. Okay? Then once you have the whole thing memorized, now you're going to create space. Your brain needs space in order to recall it. Memorization, all memorization is the ability to recall information. That's all memorization is. Okay? So if you go through the whole script, then wait 5 minutes, say the whole script again. Then wait 10 minutes, say the whole script again. Then wait 15 minutes, say the whole script again. Then go a half an hour, then go an hour, go 2 hours, then go 6 hours. And eventually at 6 hours, then you just bring it back. I mean, you can go do something else, think about something else, and then say the script again. If you have to role play with your girlfriend, with your dog, whatever, do that. Okay. But this is the number one thing that you have to do. It's a high priority.
Right.
Okay. You do that, and I promise you, next week, you're going to be helping a lot of families. All right.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Sean.
Right.
I really appreciate it. I'm going to do that.
All right.
I received everybody's sign.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I want to see you on here next week, and I'm going to ask you to role play again, and I guarantee you it's going to be better. Okay, Jacona?
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.